Welcome to the Enduro Method podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Rempel, and today I interview a very special guest and dirt bike legend, David Knight. Before we get into the podcast, we have a very special Enduro Method promo going for our podcast listeners. Enduro Method is an online strength and conditioning platform designed for increasing fitness for dirt bikers, and we are giving 50% off your first month of Enduro Method subscription by using code ENDURO2022. You can find a link and the promo code in the podcast description. David Knight is a multiple-time former world and American off-road motorcycle racing champion. He has won 5 world championships, 4 AMA titles, 24 British national titles, as well as victories in a variety of extreme enduro events, including Erzberg Rodeo, AMA Endurocross Championship, the Tough One, and 2 victories at Red Bull Last Man Standing. Without further ado, let's welcome our podcast guest, David Knight. All right, Josh here with Enduro Method, and today we are joined with David Knight from the Isle of Man. So we're going to talk about kind of what he's doing currently with riding, what his plans are this year, and kind of moving forward. If you haven't got a chance, going back, there's some great podcasts he did with David Grice from Trials Australia podcasts, where they dive into kind of David's past history, how he got started, how he got moved into enduro and stuff like that, which would be a great listen to get some more background on there. David, thanks for joining us.
No, pleasure. Good to see you, Josh. And head.
So what are you, we were just kind of talking before, and I was just going to say that after you contacted us and we set this up, I'd gone back and listened to those 2 podcasts with Trials Australia, and then also watched your YouTube video, or the movie you got, the Iron Man of Enduro.
Oh yeah.
Which was really cool. It was great to get a background. It was funny because when I was, let's see, probably like 2015 or 16, when I was kind of starting to ride again, I was always looking for people who were real big on the bike, like, because I'm 6'4", 220, and you were one, and I was always looking for like bike setup and like tips and like, what do you do different, being a bigger rider? And
it's
stuff.
hard. It is. Yeah. I get asked weekly, like I get messages weekly about bike setup and stuff, and I thought so now because maybe 15, 20 years ago, the bike, especially KTM's and European bikes, are always a little bit bigger feeling than what a Japanese bike was. Like, I remember when I went from Yamaha to KTM in 03, 04, and it was so nice jumping onto a KTM. I'd never even ridden one, when I signed the deal, and I was like absolutely dreading it, that I've made a big mistake, and I was going to be like, hate the thing, and I got on it, and it was like so easy to ride, and just that little bit extra room, getting on that bike, made a lot of difference. But over the years, it seemed to get more compact again, and getting smaller. The Austrian bikes have gone more like what a Japanese bike was, and so it is tough when you're tall. It's not easy.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular you try and do to kind of make the cockpit a little bigger?
I try not to do too much, because I want it to be easy to jump from bike to bike.
Yeah.
I did try a 2-tall kit a few years ago. That guy, I got chatting to him. I think he was a Dutch guy, but he was in Florida or somewhere doing them. And I tried that at the end. That was the end of 2017. It was good, really good. But I was scared to do it, because if you change brands or whatever and you can't get one of these kits for, I didn't want to get used to a bike and was like, oh, this is brilliant, and then jump on a different bike, which I went to Gas that following year, before, when it was Spanish Gas. So you couldn't get anything like that for them. It was mainly for Husky and KTM at the time. So I wanted to keep my bikes pretty standardized. So basically, I just put a tall seat on, like a 30 mil guts seat foam I used, a bit taller. Handlebars actually go lower, not taller. Everyone's like, Back in the day, when I went from trials to enduro, I ended up with stupidly high handlebars, but I soon realized you couldn't feel the front end, you couldn't push on the front on flat turns. It was all right for like trail riding and stuff, but racing, I go a bit lower on a KTM. I use like a quite a low bend, and the bar mounts are either stock height with the lower bend or a little bit lower as well. And then foot pegs as well, I move them back. I use Raptor titanium pegs where they go back, but I don't use them lower, like a foot peg a little bit taller, just so I don't catch. I've got big feet, like size 14, 15 US feet. So I try and keep my feet out of the way a little bit up high. I have used lower pegs and it's maybe a bit more comfortable, but at the same time, I'd always catch my feet on stuff. So I'd rather keep my feet up a bit taller and just further back, get a bit more room with the gear lever and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something I tried drop pegs and then just catch my feet on everything.
Yeah, same thing. It's hard, but I just like them a little bit further back where you get your weight over the back wheel a little bit more. And you've got a bit more room with your shifter and your brake pedal. And I don't like when the foot pegs are quite far forward, like obviously going from trials to motocross or enduro back in the day. That was one of the main things you like riding, and your foot pegs were, I think more so back then, foot pegs were quite far forward on a motocross off-road bike, but nowadays they are further back. They're not so bad, but I just go a little back, like 10 mil more.
Right. Awesome. When you kind of went from wherever that Iron of the Man in enduro kind of left off, that was around what?
End of GNCC, pretty much, like 2008, end of 08.
Yeah. So basically, give us kind of a quick timeline of what you've been up to in between, and
just like so after that, 09 was a completely disaster when I signed for BMW. So that was, that could have been great. It could have been absolutely brilliant, but a very long story short, where we were all getting paid big money, and I'd achieved everything I'd wanted to in my career, way more than I'd ever thought I would. So when someone comes and offers you massive money like that, and the chance, a big part of it for me was a chance to develop a bike, because I knew it wasn't going to be a KTM when I jumped on it, but I was hoping it was going to be better than what it was.
yeah.
Anyway, long story short, we all struggled with it. It was a weird inbred, and I give them the opportunity. I was like, listen, I don't care if we ride this bike for the rest of the year, that's fine, but next year we need to develop something that we can win on. And they were just blank no, refused to do that. So I'm like, well, I can waste 3 years here, get paid a fortune, finish 10th, which the other guy sort of did, or I can get out of here and win another world title. And that's what I did. I got out, rode a Cowie, come and did snowshoe, won that on a bike that was a day old. I went and won the final round of the World Championship on a Cowie, a bike we'd probably spent less than $8,000 on from buying the bike and spending on it, where the BM was hundreds and hundreds of thousands. So that was pretty sweet, doing that, turning up and beating BMW on a stock Kawasaki motocross bike, pretty much with WP suspension. And then I re-signed for KTM. Satellite team. It was a factory bike, but a satellite team for 2010. Won the World Championship. But this time, all my career, never really ever got injured. Like, I rode a bike pretty much every day. Never crashed so much, but when I did have a crash, it was usually a big one.
Yeah.
So 2011 was a new KTM, fuel injected 4-stroke that we were on pre-production bikes. we had bikes break down the first round from like wire and loom problems. In the end of 2010, middle of 2010, I'd hurt my hip, like kept getting problems with my hip, or both hips, but one more than the other. Start of 2011, first World Championship round, caught my foot. I'd never ever had knee injuries. It's always been my hips that have took the injury rather than the knee. So I spent a couple of months trying to find. I was in a lot of pain with it. A couple of months trying to find a specialist to look at it, and basically I had like severe hip impingement where you grow a big spur on your hip and it catches and then dislocates it. So if I was catching my hip, it was catching and trying to dislocate it and stretching everything. So I found a guy, actually went to Austria, went to the US, everywhere trying to find a guy that could do the operation, and ended up getting it done in the UK. And that was like a 9-month recovery from that.
Yeah.
And 2012, back with KTM, had quite a few podiums. I think I finished second in the World Championship, maybe, but never felt that good with the bike, and had the same problem with KTM really, where they didn't listen to what I was saying with the fuel injection. My bike in the UK was good. We'd done a lot of our own work with that, but they wouldn't let me ride or use any of that stuff on the factory bike. So 2013, I ran my own Honda team, full private satellite Honda team, all my own money, own sponsors. Blew most of the money that I'd earned over my career. And again, won a World Championship round, was actually pushing for leading the World Championship, got injured, like a thumb injury. Come back later in the year, won a round, and then, sorry kids.
Okay.
Yeah, so pushed on it later in the year, and then yeah, there was all sorts of problems with World Enduro at the time with the FIM, and like basically I won a race, and then they changed all the time schedule, and then I ended up 10th because I was the only rider that never lost any time. I stayed on schedule all day.
Right.
So that was the final nail in the coffin for World Championship for me full time. Then I went back and did some extreme races. Hold on, I'll just go and get this from. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, Josh, sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
It's not live, is it?
No.
So yeah. So after that, I rode a Sherco, went and did some extreme in that. Then ended up on my own KTMs pretty much, just doing extreme races, British races, still busy, still busy racing. And obviously by 2017, had 2 kids, and just like busy with business, like trail tours, training schools, getting my own bikes and that built, doing that sort of thing. And then pretty much 2018 rode some races for Gas Factory with their new bike. Went and did some Spanish races, some indoors, and then 19. What to do in 19? The closer I get to now, is more I forget. Getting older, I guess. And then just started doing some like all the British extreme stuff and that again. I did the odd, like from 2013 through to 17. I went and did 1 or 2 rounds of the World Championship, and in them years I never was off the podium. So every like one-off race I went and did, I was like, third or whatever, second, third. And then yes, that was pretty good. And just busy with that. And then obviously did the Dakar in 21. got back from Dakar. So yeah, that was like just over a year ago now. So went and did some, when the whole COVID thing started, obviously not much was happening for the last 2 years.
Right.
So went and did a Spanish rally to qualify for the Dakar. Went and did Dakar, finished 23rd, 24th. So that was really good. That's something I've always wanted to do my entire life.
How was that whole experience doing that race?
Unbelievable. Just it was mentally, it was hard because I'd done one little Spanish rally, so I'd never even been to the desert, and just trying to the whole thing's on your road book. You know, you can cheat it, you can follow different lines and follow other people, but I really wanted to do it the safe way, where I just did it all myself and tried learning every day, and that's what I did. And it was so hard to, you know, I knew I had the speed to put in some, maybe, you know, top 10 days, maybe even better than that, but I literally rode at 40-50% the whole rally, navigating, just being safe. You know, it's really dangerous event. Like, until you get there, you don't realize how dangerous it is. You know, the speeds that you're going and the unknown. But I really did enjoy it. Loved it. It's one of the best events that I've ever done.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I just sort of, yeah, just cruised around, and it was hard because I kept having to pull myself back. You know, the whole thing to go was to finish the first one, go and finish, because that might have been my only opportunity I've ever had to do it. You know,
Right.
might not get the opportunity again. So I would regret it for the rest of my life if I went there, took my brain out, tried going, doing something daft, and then having a big crash. And, you know, even if you don't get injured or don't get hurt, to get an F after all the nightmare and hassle we went to actually get to the Dakar was the hardest part, by, you know, unbelievably hard to get there. But so I didn't want to throw it all away at the event, just to try and prove a point, you know. So just cruised around, really enjoyed it. Was raring to go at 3 every morning. You know, you're up and you're like, oh, I can't wait for today, because every day was a new challenge, and I was trying to climb the ladder. You know, like back in the day, back when I was setting out in enduro or trials. So that was really nice, getting back to that mentality again. And then after that, I got COVID really bad. Actually crashed after the Dakar. I crashed on the motocross track on my sand track, punctured a lung, had 16 breaks in my ribs, had 9 broken ribs, 16 fractures, and then got COVID about 2 weeks later. And I was literally 3 weeks from hell, from the worst time of my life, where just lying on the sofa, sweating, shaking, and every day I think, oh, I'm going to be a bit better tomorrow. And it literally went on for 3 weeks. Me and my girlfriend, we had 3 kids here. No one could come and help because of the whole restriction thing, and we were just trying to feed the kids for 3 weeks. And you know, it was horrendous. I've never ever been that ill with anything.
Wow.
And my mum had it. My mum's like early 60s, and she was fine. She didn't have any issues at all with it. So so I was like, that was probably late March. And then I thought, shit, you know, the way I felt even after a month, I was like, I can't even think about riding a motorbike. I'm knackered, feeling and tired. Anyway, a few weeks later, and I was coming to a bit, I was like, been riding the bike a little bit, and then decided to do the British Championship literally 2 weeks before the first round. And first round, I was like 6th, steady away, disappointed. And then after that, there was like a couple of months gap.
Yeah.
So I just put the work in, and then ended up second at the next round, winning the next round, and then the final round, I was in with like a shot of winning the overall British Championship, which I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 points short at the end, but I won the big bike class, E3 class, so I won that. second overall. So the last time I'd raced the British Championship and won the British Championship was 2012. So it was like pretty much nearly 10 years since I'd contested it. And so that was nice to win, to win a day on that when I was racing against World Championship guys. Was sweet. And I knew I had a win in me, and I knew it was going to be hard, and I was going to suffer bad doing it because it's so intense, but I knew it was there somewhere. So that was sort of my do or die round, that I knew, right, today's a day that I can actually, beat all the young guys and go and win. And I did it. So that was a nice sort of thing. And then, so British Championship finished, and we had some other races on. Went to the tough one, which was November. That was big head-to-head with Billy Bolt.
Yeah.
And the tough one, I think me and Jarvis had both tied on 6 wins for it over the years. I'd missed quite a few, but me and Graham had, always been a good race for us too. So, it was good there to go and measure myself against Billy, because obviously he's the best guy in the world right now on the hard enduro stuff, the indoor stuff. He's one of the best speed-wise on the world enduro as well, if he contested it.
Yeah.
So, I was there. I was thinking, I'm gonna get lapped. He's gonna lap me, but the tough one's about, I think, 8-minute lap, 8-minute lap, something like that. Tough lap with loads of other guys. So anyway, I finished like 1:50 behind him at the finish.
Wow.
Actually went from 3 minutes back down at one point. I got a sniff. Everyone was cheering me on, and I thought maybe he's got a problem. I don't know, but I just pushed the last sort of half hour. I pushed hard, and so I was really, really made up with that result, because there's a lot of young guys there as well. I hadn't done British Extreme or the tough one for a few years. Hadn't done any extreme races for a few years. I'd been concentrating on like the, your normal sort of enduro, riding big bikes like 500s, 450, 4-stroke. So to go and have that result there on a bike that I'd pretty much built, guessed everything ourselves, was nice. And that was sort of set me up now to, give me a bit of confidence that I can go racing this year. And, I'm not going to go and beat them guys, but I can do a good job and I can keep improving. And, extreme racing, hard enduro, you just don't know what's going to happen. You've got to be smart as well. I've got the experience, and so just looking forward to the challenge of it, really.
Yeah, being like listening kind of the stuff that I did before, I mean, it's very obvious the competitiveness that you have, right? You obviously don't like losing.
Yeah.
But how have you gone about kind of keeping that throughout the years, and like what's it look like from your perspective, maybe 10, 15 years ago to where you are now?
It's easy. I've never ever had an issue with motivation to win. That's something I've had since I was a kid, with running races, bicycle racing, trials. But maybe to the other way, where Dougie Lampkin was a bit the same, where you want to win too much almost. And you get addicted to it. When I was winning world championship and then went to the US, in my mind, there was no excuse. There's no reason why I could finish second place. I had to win, and I had to win at all costs. Like, that was the only mentality I had. Obviously, as you get older, and you have kids and stuff like that, you've got loads of other stuff going on. You've got to earn a living, you've got to work, and you've got to earn money to feed your family and stuff, and pay your mortgage and all that. So it did change. It took a long time, and it was hard to change that mindset. And I found it really difficult to do that. But I managed to, and I just sort of go out and enjoy myself now and race. Still competitive, but it's hard to find a balance. Like, I think when I changed my mindset, I was almost too laid back, going to races, and like, I wouldn't say not bothered, but I would sort of talk myself out of it, thinking, or don't look too serious and stuff, just try and chill out. And then I realized, no, you need to be a bit more serious again. It's finding that fine balance. I've not got at the minute, and especially this time of year when you can't really, when it's dark at 4 p.m. and miserable weather, you can't go out riding. Like in the summer, I can go riding in the evenings after work, or when the kids finish school, they can come home and I'll go out on my bike for a couple of hours with mates. So you get fit, but I've not got, obviously the older you get, the fitness level goes, your bike fitness, if you don't ride enough. So it's finding a good balance where you're happy with the results for what you're able to put into it. That's what it's been about. Now I'm trying to get my arse into shape again, because, I want to do well. I want to do the best I can. And that doesn't have to be winning, top 5, top 6 in races, and build. That's the fun of it. That's what I sort of enjoy, is, maybe going to the first race, finishing 10th. And that gives you a goal then. And, I'm smart enough and a lot of experience where I can say, right, I really struggled there on that type of thing. Or I struggled with my fitness, or I got bad arm pump, whatever. So there's always, a reason when you don't perform to the ability that you can. There's usually a reason that when you're riding a bike, or I struggle with that, or the bike was doing this, or I was doing this wrong. So you can work on it and improve, and then you go to the next race, a month later or a couple of months later, whatever it is, and you finish 4th, and you're like, whoa, that I've made that improvement. So that's what I like about it, and that's something that I've always loved about the sport, and that's what I still like about it now. Some of the most boring races that I've ever had in my career are ones that I've won by loads. You're winning week in, week out, and it's nice, but it gets boring. And some of the races that stick in my mind are races that I might have finished 2nd or 3rd in, but work really hard to get that position and battle with someone, or you might have won the race, but you had a massive battle down until the last special test, which, one that sticks straight in my head was in Italy in 2010 World Championship, and it come down. I think there was 2 seconds between the two of us. There was two special tests left, and I just put everything that I could into it and took like 10 seconds out of the guy in that one stage. And the last one, it was like a short extreme test where anything can go wrong.
Yeah.
So you just had, and that was the home race for the team, for, the Farioli KTM team and stuff. So stuff like that was where he finished, and everyone appreciated it. Farioli's dad was like jumping for joy because I was only KTM, their rider, to win that day. So things like that stick in your mind, and that's what makes it worthwhile. I've won races where you finish and sort of everyone's fed up with you winning. No one's really, oh yeah, well done, see ya, and and you sort of, yeah, it's not fun when it's like that.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely noticed as I've gotten older too, or things that I've worked hard for are just much more, you appreciate them much more than if, not to say that they're given, but it's not the result that matters as much as kind of the journey that gets the result.
Yeah. Like I was saying about the Dakar, the whole thing, the biggest challenge, it was unbelievable with COVID and sponsors pulling the plug on the last minute, so it couldn't go and stuff like that. Fighting the odds to fight all that and still make it there. to get there, that was like, massive.
Yeah.
You're cold. Oh, you don't say hello? Yeah. Yeah. Say hello.
Hello.
You're going shy now. Wave. You want to wave? Hey. Well, then you go back and watch telly. You hold.
Yeah.
What?
Hold the box.
Hold the box. Do you want that? Yeah, I'll give my phone. That always works till the battery dies. Yeah. That'll do. Get another 5 minutes piece, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, you appreciate stuff like that more. Like the journey to get to a race, or when you're with the factory team, it's almost easy because all you think about is riding the bike and training and riding. When you're like a privateer, like now, I've just spent since before Christmas trying to sort engines and sort parts out and build bikes and get bikes built here in the US, and yeah. What have we done here? There, go on. Yeah, so it's a lot more satisfying, definitely.
What's that? So you're coming over for some of the hard enduro, the AMA US Hard Enduro Series this year.
Yeah, so we'll start with the grinding stone just to get a race under our belts and see how that goes. The terrain there looks completely different to anything else that, especially for hard enduro, anything that I'm sort of used to, but that's part of the fun, so I'm looking forward to that. Then I've got some European races, English races and stuff. Then I'll come back out probably then for May, for there's one at, I think, 9th, 10th of May, and then maybe do a US sprint round, one of them full gas sprints on the following week at the end of May. I like mixing it up. I sort of don't like just doing hard enduro week in, week out to get bored. I always like doing like, hard enduro one week and then, there's whatever GNCC, I'll go and do that. I like to keep it sort of, a little bit different, but mainly I'll be doing hard enduro because the good thing with hard enduro is every race is different anyway, so you'll have your race in Arizona, then you'll have one in, maybe South Carolina or something that's completely different race, different terrain, more like I've got here, rivers and trees and stuff. So that's what I enjoy about it. I never like doing races that are all the same, and that's what happens to World Championship. They're all, you'd be in Spain or Italy or France, and they're all dry and dusty in the summer, and you wouldn't have a clue if you're in France, Greece, Mexico or what. It was all the same tracks, and so I got pretty bored with that. And yeah, it's always nice to have something fresh.
Yeah, the terrain at Grinding Stone is definitely unique. We went and did it last year, and the first year they had it, and yeah, I had never ridden anything like it in my life. So
it looks like the stone, I don't know, almost like sometimes it looks grippy, and then you watch another video and it's like ice. I don't know.
Yeah, we were just went across the road and pre-ride the day before when we got down there, and some of the rock, it's like sandpaper, just super grippy. And then I don't remember what side, but maybe it was north facing or one of the sides that the weather hits it weird. It's the top layers, it looks grippy, and then it just
like sand
flakes off.
Yeah, because you watch a video and like guys going up this rock, and then all of a sudden it's like like powder. And so maybe all the sand gets blown onto it and then just builds up a layer.
But it's super fun.
Yeah, no, it looks good, and I love riding in sand as well. So the between parts look quite good fun, you know.
Yeah.
In the sand stuff.
So when you had come off of COVID and you had said you kind of went back and got some training in back to get back in shape, what does that look like for you? And also a question would be, I was curious on is what's that changed for you like over the years? So did you do you have kind of like on the bike specific training you do, whether that's just riding or doing, show closed course laps kind of stuff and off the bike training? What's that kind of
all I ever did in my whole career was ride a bike. Never did any gym work. Like when I was at school, I was a good runner, did a lot of running, cross country running, sprinting. Obviously we're on BMXs, our age group. We were on BMXs every single night after school, weekends. That's what you just rode bicycles and played with your mates and did all that. So it was easy back then. Yeah, he's wrecked it again. It was easy back then. Being able, like, I never had any issue with. Go on. I never had any issue with feeling tired at any race. World Championship, I love riding that much. I just rode every day. And the best thing for riding a motorbike or racing a motorbike is to ride your bike. So I did that. I would go circuit train in the winter with my mates, whatever, just for something to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have any time off because I literally was going from outdoor races, extreme race or hard enduro was starting. So I was going like Hell's Gate, Erzberg, any holidays that I had, and then indoor world championship in the winter. So my season never finished for like 6 or 7 years. I was pretty much constant for that long. Wow. Doing, through the US GNCC. I didn't stop. I was literally, I would say 6 or 7 years, didn't stop for a rest. And then it caught up with me finally. But, with my hips mainly, I've never, touch wood, I've never sort of had any massive big injuries. A couple of years ago, I was doing a lot of beach racing. I couldn't think before in like 2017, 18, 19. I was riding for Suzuki doing a lot of your beach events in the UK and stuff. And I come off on my local track, hit a rock in the sand and like lost feeling in my legs for like a couple of minutes, dragged myself off the beach and I'd broke a load of vertebrae. So I was about 10, 11 weeks off that and then ended up doing the race still because that was my big race for the year, was a Western Beach race. So I sort of went there with a broken back still. Not that I told the surgeon or the doctor, and just went for a steady run and so that was, all that hard work that I'd put in, sort of, I wasn't going to let it go to waste. I wanted to ride and just ride safe and not do anything daft. And so that's the biggest injury I've ever had on a motorbike, which just stupid little crash, just hit a rock in the sand and kicked me sideways, and that was it. But yeah, training wise, I just always rode in the sand. I just rode in the sand, and I used to ride a lot of, when I was riding a 525 KTM back in the day, I used to train on a 540 motocross KTM because it was that much power in it. It was fun to ride, but it was an animal. I used to train on that because when I got off that onto my race bike, my enduro bike, it was like riding a 250F compared. So it was easy. So that's what I did. And then as I've got older, like I was saying, that I won that British Championship last year. That was sandy terrain. One special test was sand, the other one was in the forest. The short sand test was where I really noticed that my intensity is gone compared to what it used to be. Like that was a 7-minute special test in sand, and I was literally 110% for as long as I could in that test. And I couldn't do 7 minutes at 110%. I was probably down to like 90% at the end of it.
Right.
the forest test, that was 12 minutes long, and I could 110% through that, because it's obviously a bit faster, a bit flowing, hard grind. So you can push on that. And if you go too hard in that sort of terrain, you go backwards. So there's a happy medium where in the rough sand, you've got to attack it as hard as you can. So that's where I sort of noticed where my intensity had gone a lot compared to what it used to be. But my endurance is quite good. Like if I've got a long race where, I might struggle the first couple of hours, even arm pumping, and just find it hard. And then I sort of get warmed up and get into a rhythm. And then I'm like, just an old diesel tractor going along. I'm like going fast, and I'll make a load of time in the last hour, and that's probably why I was always good at GNCC, because I was fast and fit at the start of the race back then, but I knew that no one could compete with me on fitness at the end of the race, because I was just that strong from riding. So now I find it hard, like you were saying about training. I find it hard now because I can't ride the bike as much as I want to, with family commitments and work commitments and stuff like that. But also the body doesn't take me riding a bike. If I had the time and energy to ride a bike every day, I still wouldn't be able to, because your body starts falling to pieces. Basically, you get sore hip, or that starts hurting, or you twist it. So I try and do quite a bit of e-biking, so I'm cheating, but I do a lot of e-biking over here. It's perfect, straight up in the hills and go for a couple hour ride. I've actually been doing a little bit of running. Like I never ran since I left school until lockdown, and then I've just had the kids go out on the bicycles, so I'll just go and run with them and try and keep up with them on the bikes, and take the dog with me and just do that hill. The only thing I used to do when I was doing GNCC was hill walking. So like the mountain over here, I'd set off and walk up to the top of that and then back down for like an hour and a half or something like that. That's the only other exercise that I did apart from riding a bike, because I hate gyms. I go into a gym and I hate the thing. Only thing that I can do, and I hate doing that, is rowing. I've got a rowing machine out here, Concept 2, and I'll go on that and just do some. But just try and ride the bike as much as I can, and if it's an escalator or a set of stairs, I'll go up the stairs trying to just that type of thing. Old school. I'll be out in the bike. Like I'll do a lot more stretching now as well. I used to just jump on the bike and go flat out, not even warm up. Now I'll do some stretching and warm up and stuff, because I've had like a couple of issues with my back after I broke it, where disc or goes into spasm and you're sort of 4 days lying on the couch and can't move. That's happened twice and not nice at all. So I try and do all my stretching and warm up a bit before I ride now. And touch wood, that seems to be working quite good. And it only ever happens in the winter when it's like cold and miserable and wet. So hopefully when you get out into some warmer climate, that won't be an issue anyway.
Yeah. How many hours did you ever kind of compute, like how many hours a week you'd try and get riding, or was it just kind of go by feel? And
I just used to ride every day just because I loved it. I was like, I got up in the morning, I was like, go out on my bike again. And I'd have all these different tracks and I'd just be as fast as I could on them. And then at the weekends, I would go out riding with my mates. And that was sort of my hobby, going riding with them and hill climbing. And, like everyone does, go out hill climbing, go out extreme riding, which it wasn't really a thing back then. It was just we did it. And then it started like Erzberg started, Last Man Standing started, Hell's Gate, all them races started. And I was like, oh, that's what I do for fun anyway. Fun races, let's go. And so me and my mates I'd go and do them with my buddies. And we just had a good laugh, and they rode most of the races, and we'd go out at night time with shitty lights on that used to sort of make you get a car spotlight and wire it into the kind of YZ250 or whatever. And that's what we did. Where now everything's easy, you can go and get your task racing lights now, and you've got a light that's like riding in the daytime, and so it's changed a hell of a lot in the last 10 years, even compared to what it was. But I still love it. I still love riding a bike more than anything else, and like I wouldn't say I love competing, but I love the events. I love doing different events. Competing's hard because you like being competitive like I am. You never want to finish 10th, something like that. But that's just a way of life, I'm afraid, when you get older and you can't put the effort in. Like I used to leave nothing on the table, where I knew when going into a race, I was fitter than everyone, I was faster than everyone. So there was no excuse that I got beat by anyone. And it was that simple, that was how simple it was. And now I'm like, well, yeah, there's loads of people doing more training, riding than what I can do. They're probably a lot fitter than what I am, but I've got a lot of experience, more experience than what they have. And sometimes that counts for more, like at the tough one, even, I come out of that and yeah, Billy won, but he wasn't miles ahead of me. He was making mistakes, and I sort of rode at a good pace, which wasn't good enough to win, but it was good enough to nearly lap third place. And there's some good riders. So yeah, I just do the best I can with what I've got, and that's all you can sort of do.
Yeah. You've kind of done all the disciplines, it seems like, and it doesn't, just from a conversation, like you don't really have a favorite. You do enjoy mixing it up. And
yeah, definitely. Like I'm like most people who just love riding the bike, whether it's a trials bike, a motocross bike, enduro bike, I'll go out and ride on the street, whatever. I just love motorbikes, full stop. And it's just a massive passion that I've grew up with. And I think that, in your career, you go through dark stages where you can't be asked to go on your bike. You're like, I've got a world championship race in 2 weeks, and I just cannot be asked to go riding. And you'll go through stages like that, and I'll probably not ride as much then, and it's sort of a drag. And you'll go to a race, and then a few weeks later, you'll be all, you love it again. And I think that'll be true in any career with, if you're a businessman or whatever. You go through stages that it goes up and down, and a lot of it here depends on the weather and who you're riding with. And if you have a shitty result, I was always probably more motivated to do good at the next one, where if I was winning a lot, you sort of get not bored of winning, but you get bored of, you think I can't improve anymore. I'm I don't need to. I'm sort of doing good.
right.
And then it gets a bit stale. So, but I've been lucky. I've been really lucky to be able to enjoy what I do so much that it's never really been work.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It seems like whenever I'm doing better is when I'm shortly going to start doing worse, because I get a little complacent or.
Yeah, exactly. And you get, when you get to the top, there's only one way down. When you're at the top, no one in the world can stay on the top forever, and you've got to come down. So you've just got to adapt to it. And like I said, it was hard for me to adapt to it, for sure. I'm not going to lie about that, but I've sort of I think I found a good, happy place now where I'm enjoying it. I'm working with some really good people, and got a lot of friends in the sport around the world. And I think everyone enjoys. I enjoy being at the races, and I think people enjoy having me there. So that's, for me now, that's what it's about. And if you have a bad race, then, whatever, suck it up, see where you can improve, and come out the next one. And, I'm experienced enough to know that some races you go to just don't suit you. The terrain, you'll suit some guys and maybe not not a guy from the Isle of Man. And then you'll get to another race and you'll be like rubbing your hands, laughing because you think this race is made for me, you know, and you know you're going to do well, and then you have a good race and people are like, how the hell did you ride up that? And you know, it's just what you know. It's horses for courses, and you know, the more riding you're doing around the world, the better it is because you're riding in different terrains, and you know, so I've got good experience from that over the years. But you do forget when you get to certain terrain. Like, how did I used to ride this like 20 years ago? So yeah, but it's all fun. That's the main thing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to be respectful of your time and really appreciate the conversation. Is there anything you want to kind of say, or where people can reach out and support or get a hold of you? Or
Yeah, just most people just on Instagram or Facebook or something like that. They can, you know, free to give me a shout, and I always try and reply to most people, you know, and yeah, I'm just looking forward. You know, I'd say one of the best times of my career was in the US race, and that was, you know, GNCC. That was my favorite time of my career, and the races were more chilled out. They were more relaxed. Good people, a little bit more. I would say more like a club race atmosphere. You know, like a local race would be at home. That sort of atmosphere, which I love. You know, I don't like all the bullshit you get at a world championship race with, you know, press conferences and this and that. And, you know, I just like talking to people coming up. They'll come up to me on and, you know, can have an autograph and he'll chat to you about bikes and racing. That's how I liked it, you know, and then they made it all corporate and you had to sit in front of everyone and people have to queue up. And I just never liked that side of it as much. Where in the US it was more normal. It was more, I could be David Knight, who I grew up being, and just enjoy the company of everyone and having a laugh and having fun. And so them 2 years were definitely the best of my career. Result wise, they were good. It was a challenge. It was a new sport for me, so I enjoyed it. And looking back, I wish I'd stayed longer. I wish I'd done another 2 years. You know, that's the only, not a regret, but because I went and won another world title, but that's the only thing probably in my career. If I had the time again, I would have stayed in the US longer because it just felt more like home for me.
yeah. It was,
So,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, so I'm just, yeah, I was going to say, I'm just looking forward to coming out again and racing, doing the hard enduro. And I'm sure I'll do a couple of GNCC or national enduro as well, just mix it up a bit. But I've got Classic Car Club guys who, you know, they're responsible for all this. They're the guys that are behind me, and Phil and Mike there, they've, you know, absolutely brilliant, pushing me on. I've got Evan at Solid Performance, who's and all the guys there, Dieter and Cody and everyone that, you know, we're dialing the bike in. Evan's responsible for building my bike over there, and just got probably one of the best crews I've ever had in my career.
Awesome.
Because they're all passionate. They're all guys like me that are wanting to do well, but at the same time, they're just wanting to have a good, you know, a good ride along the way and fun of doing it. And that's what it's about, especially in this time of life.
Yeah.
Kids and phones.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking, you know, these opportunities don't come around sort of every day. So I want to make the most of it. And, you know, in my eyes, and I think Phil as well, this year will be a learning curve again, you know. I'm not going to kid myself. I'll come over and I'm going to improve as the year goes on, and then hopefully we'll get the bike dialed in, I'll get dialed in, everything will sort of start clicking together, and then 2023 we can have a good shot at, you know,
Yeah.
good shot at maybe a championship or at winning races. I don't know, but that's sort of the plan. Stay healthy and see what happens.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll look forward to it. We're going to be down at Grinding Stone, so Hopefully we'll get a chance to meet down there.
Yeah, for sure. Come and say hello. But like that, I'm looking forward to that because it looks completely different,
Yeah.
you know. So, but I love a challenge like that, and I'm gonna try and get out like a week before and do some riding and testing and stuff. So, yeah, see what happens.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the conversation. Thanks for coming on the podcast. And yeah, wishing you
No,
all the best
spot on.
this year.
No, thanks for having me, Josh, and look forward to catching up.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Thank you.